d'avoir assisté à la séance du Voyage de Marta, les titres originaux et staff only. Et on espère que vous avez bien aimé les films. Je m'appelle Gloria Morano, je suis responsable de la programmation jeune public et on est très contente d'avoir pu vous proposer ce film et on est d'autant plus contente de pouvoir vous proposer une rencontre, un petit entretien avec la réalisatrice qui est connectée avec nous depuis Barcelone, Neus Ballús. Neus, welcome.
Thank you.
So we are really happy to have you here. Thank you very much for your time. The first question is, I read you studied documentary filmmaking. So my question was, why did you want to do a fiction about this subject that can be interesting for a documentary too?
It's because I was interested in the place. Like, as you see, it's a very specific relationship that take place in this kind of touristic resources. So, but the thing is, it's quite difficult to film there, like how it really works. And I was also interested to follow, as the title says, like the trip of a young woman, a young girl that goes there for the very first time. So I wanted actually to tell a story that it was similar to something that happened to me when I was younger, you know. When I was around, I was like the age of Marta. I traveled a lot, and I think that it kind of opened my eyes to how the world, like how it works, you know, and how relationships are in these places. And that's why I thought that doing a movie, you know, a fiction, but with all the real elements there, would actually help, you know, understand how was the experience.
And the another question is about, as you say, the filming experience, as we see images that the characters shoot. Why using this form?
Well, because the first time I was in Senegal, I was 20, and I was there to help a friend of mine who was like studying with me at the university. We were doing documentaries, and she took a camera so that we could shoot something in the area where you have just seen, you know. But we were in a small village, and we were shooting like the everyday life of the people there. And before leaving, Maria, is the name of my friend, she left her camera there to the guy that actually helped us move around. And then years later, I think like, you know what, I have to make a movie about this place because it's very interesting, you know, the contrast between like the touristic areas and the villages and all that. And I called back this guy, Malan, my friend, and he said, you know what, Neus, with this camera you gave me, now I actually invented a business, because I go shoot like the tourists, and I just edit something, I give them the DVD, and I just make a lot of money, you know. and I said, I'm so interested to see this material, just tourists making the tourists, you know, like playing the. And I saw the images that were totally documentary, was the ones he shot, and I said, I have to make a film about this, you know. And actually, suddenly watching the images, it was the image of people fighting, you know, like the white guy like trying to win, and the black guy, of course, letting him win, because it's the thing. And I said, like, if I was a teenager and I was there watching my father fight, I would be so embarrassed, you know. I would be so embarrassed. Like, what would I think? So actually that was the starting point of the movie, you know. What would happen if I put there, like in the middle, a 17-year-old girl, you know, who's actually living this situation. That's why I decided to include all this footage, you know, which talk actually a lot about how nowadays we actually experience our lives through the images too, you know. Before, we just did it when we were on vacations, you know, and there were these cameras, but now we're all the time, like everything is, yeah. And if you don't film it, if you don't take a picture, it looks like if you didn't experience it, you know. So I also wanted like to think a little bit about that.
And yeah, what is interesting too is that all the story is from the point of view of Marta. Maybe not all, but it's really her point of view.
Yes.
Why did you want to build the film like this?
Well, because I wanted to be in her mind, you know, like, and it's actually, the film is actually shot as a documentary, you know, there's a script, but Marta, she's not an actress, Elena. I saw like a thousand teenagers, between girls and boys. I went to schools like yours, you know, to see like 1,000 of people. And I just wanted to take someone who was in the same point as Marta, you know. She's someone who is very critical with things. She's especially with her dad, you know, but also she has the curiosity, you know, like she has the will to discover, you know, which is something very, very nice from this age too, you know. So I took this girl, which is she's called Elena, and we shot the movie like chronologically from the beginning to the end of the movie. So I wanted to be in her eyes and in her situation, because actually Elena, which was the other Marta, was living a similar experience while we were shooting, you know, and you can see it in her eyes. So that's why her point of view is important. Everything is done, even if it's a fiction, everything is prepared so that we can get a lot of real material, let's say.
And that's the documentary touch.
Yeah, a little, yes.
And so the point of the beginning of the film is about this ethical dilemma that we can have as white rich people going on holidays in Africa, in Senegal. And is this a kind of message you want to give to the teenagers about being in this position?
Well, it's as they say there, you know, all my Senegalese friends, they say, well, you just come here and you play the rich, you know, you play the rich and you play the. It's like people like feeling they have the power, and they have more power than other people. This is something very weird of human condition, that people can get attached to this feeling. Yeah, I'm more than you, I'm superior than you know. So, and this we can see it in our everyday life, even when we go buy, you know, ask for a Coke in a bar, you can say it in a very different ways, you know. So for me it was important to talk about this, like depending on of the place where you are born, it means that you are in a situation to talk to people that is different, and your relationships will be different depending on the money you have, the culture you have, and everything. So we have to be conscious about it. We are not equal. Equality, it doesn't exist. We are the only thing that exists is diversity. So we have to start from here, and from that point we can establish like more equal relationships if you want, but from the difference, you know, because there's no two single persons that are actually the same, you know. So that's why it was so important to go to the, let's say, to the most radical landscape where I can find this, which is these people is there like on vacations having nothing to do, and they're actually being served all the time, you know, by nice people working there. So, and I thought, okay, what's the relationship between these two groups, you know? So my idea was that like young people, like the ones that you just watch the movie, ask yourself when you go to a bar, but also on holidays, like people that is serving you, I mean, they're humans, you know. Sometimes we forget that there's a story there. There's a story, and we have to empathize with the situation that everyone has, you know. We have to be able to see the other one who's on the other side, you know.
And was the film being shown in Senegal?
Not yet. Not yet. The thing is that we have been trying to organize a screening since last year, but the thing is that about like with the pandemics and stuff, it hasn't been like possible. Yes, we like the main character that played the Senegalese roles. Of course, they watched it when we premiered it in Berlinale, and for instance, the girl that you saw that she plays the role of Aissatou, Madeleine, she's from the area where we shot the movie, and actually her aunt is working in the same hotel, you know, so she knows very well this reality. And after the screening, we were on the stage in the Q&A, and she started crying and crying and crying. And she said, like, person there was like, what happens? Like, what's the problem? She said, it's so nice that finally there's a movie that actually portrays like the job that my aunt does, you know. Nobody gives it any value, you know, and it's like giving some dignity to people working for tourists, you know. So, and she was happy to see it this way, you know. Yeah, but apart from that, we didn't have still like the feedback from a big audience from Senegal.
So we hope you can have other screenings.
Yeah, let's hope so.
And in Africa. And thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Work. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so sorry that I cannot be here. I have to say to the people there that just watched the movie that from the beginning, I just wanted to be in a screening with people of your age, because I thought about this film, of what impact would it have to someone like you, and I was very interested to do some exchange. So I'm so sorry that I couldn't reach you, but I'm on social networks, everything. So if you have questions or comments, I would be super happy to answer them.
Thank you.
Thank you.